folks. Just making sure everything's going good. Okay. Hi, folks. Welcome to another episode of Tuesday Night Talks. And we're brought to you by Des Moines New Age Shop and Community Center. My name's Alicia, and I'm going to be your host tonight. Okay. So, and as normal, the pollen is ridiculous in the air, so I don't actually need these, but my eyes are killing me. Anyways, so tonight we're going to be talking about the topic of ley lines. You can call them lung mei, which I'm probably slaughtering that pronunciation. I do apologize. Dragon lines, dragon paths, or just plain old energetic veins of the earth. Ley lines they're not very heavily talked about or widely talked about. A lot of people don't know about them, but there's something everybody should know about, whether you're an energy worker, magic practitioner, just simple researcher. Everyone should know about these. And weird. Hold on. That's weird. Okay, my background's being weird. Anyway, all right. Ley lines, think of them like, you know how you have blood vessels and capillaries in your body, and then you have points where they meet, right? Well, think of ley lines as those, but in the earth. They are energetic veins within the earth. And then when two or more of these lines meet, it's called a node or a nexus or a heart, whatever vernacular you want to call it, but it is a grouping. And generally that grouping is a little bit more powerful than a regular line itself. And it generally emanates a stronger radius of energy. Well, it depends on how many lines converge at that point, but you can definitely feel it when you get close to a node. And for this talk, I'm just going to call them a node. Keep it simple. Energetic veins, ley lines, node. Anyway, no matter who you are, you need to know where your ley lines are at, where your nodes are at. Simply because... And also you have to suss out if they are dirty or clean. That's another thing. Think about it if you had blood poisoning. That's what it's like for a dirty ley line. And I'm going to get into some symptoms and side effects here in a little bit. But when you are over a clean line, you have to make sure you are not unconscious. Well, clean line or dirty line. Make sure you're not unconsciously tapping into the line. Simply for the fact of, one, it's going to if it's clean, it's going to supercharge everything you do. So think about it. It's like taking pure energy right out of the earth and zap. Okay. It's going to supercharge everything, and that can have a lot of unintended consequences and make spells stronger and go farther than you really would like them to. Okay. Whereas if you're over a dirty line, you never want to touch it. You actually want to do everything you can to clean that line up. And it's quite a process for an individual to do. I know the Lakota tribes, when they found a dirty ley line, they would schedule community dances over it until the line was healed. They would do a lot of ceremonies and things like that, at least from what I've researched and what I've learned by word of mouth. But I don't see the community getting together to do any dances over a dirty ley line. At least not anytime in the future. And believe me, I've asked. So when you're over a dirty ley line, if you tap into it for magical purposes or mystical purposes or healing purposes or anything in the metaphysical, your spells will go wonky. Your energy work will go awry. It will actually be soured itself. You will find more of a tinge to it. You'll find that you need to keep doing more energy work and pulling more energy into yourself because it's not clean. It's basically causing deterioration everywhere it touches. Dirty ley lines also attract all kinds of spiritual baddies, supernatural nasties. They come to it like moths to a flame. Other thing, ley lines, just like regular human life, ley lines actually, they collude along the waterways. They travel along waterways quite a bit. Not always, but quite a bit. It was originally thought and postulated that they were only traveling between sacred sites like Easter Island, Stonehenge, stuff like that. Originally, The only actual book we have on ley lines, it's incredibly out of date, but it's by Alfred Watkins. And even he was referring to astronomers and amateur archaeologists and stuff before his time. So the theory of energetic veins in the earth, the history and the starting point is interminable, but it was in 1921 that Alfred Watkins wrote the book, The Old Straight Road. It is, there's almost no copies in print. I have one on my bookshelf, but that was by sheer dumb luck. And because I love collecting books. The older the better. But ley lines do not just go between sacred sites. They're all over the place. And actually, some people now theorize that they go in through outer space into different planets, kind of like a grid map system almost. Which that's really interesting when you think about the energy work potential on that. But I digress. I apologize. Anyway, a dirty ley line is nobody's friend. And I cannot stress this enough. Do not work with it. Do not use the energy. It is toxic. And you can always tell when you are in a dirty ley line zone. When you're in a clean ley line zone, you feel kind of buzzy. You feel lighter, healthier. Sometimes it can overload sensitives, so they don't like to live too close to them. Other sensitives love it, and they just dig that. But and you also heal faster, you need less sleep, and you see that everything around you is well kept up. People are a little happier. When you get onto a dirty ley line or a toxic ley line, you will know almost immediately, generally, I would say 97% of the time. All of a sudden you look around and everything's run down, everything's deteriorated. Nobody's keeping up their yards. Nobody's keeping anything up. Businesses, they don't keep up their fronts. Everything's trash. Things are peeling. Things seem to go into fast rot or decay. People, they need unending amounts of sleep. There's always a lot of physical, mental, and emotional illnesses as well as energetic illnesses. It's kind of like, now this is a dramatic example, but it's like you fall and sprain your ankle. Well, then all of a sudden you find out you broke bone. And then all of a sudden you find out you have to have surgery. That kind of thing. Whereas over a clean line, you would have fell, stumbled, got back up, maybe wrapped your ankle and moved on. But when it comes to a dirty ley line, you just can't seem to heal because the energy to heal is not there. You're expending all of your energies just attempting to survive, just attempting to exist. And then on top of it, dirty ley lines attract negative entities, negative spirits, negative everything. And people become meaner. They become crueler. All of a sudden, you'll see tempers just flare out of nowhere. And you're like, what the hell? But that's because they're reacting. People don't even understand it right now, but they're reacting to what's going on beneath their feet. Everybody thinks that we are completely disconnected from the earth. That is so not true. And when you look at it from an energetic standpoint, we're all one. Okay, I hate to get all hippy-dippy on you guys. I mean, I know I'm wearing the hippie shirt and the crystal earrings and everything, but it is the truth. What happened as above, or as below, so above in this case. So you have to be very careful to suss out your ley lines. Another thing is there is no true accurate map of the ley lines. Now, I did have I'm just going to say a friend. I had an old friend, and he had the patience to actually go with a pendulum and suss out the map of his area. He used the yes-no pendulum method, and he started checking where the lines were clean and where the lines were dirty. After that, he checked for vortexes and he checked for nodes. And what he found out was his area was rife with toxic ley line energy. And so he set about going through the different maps and everything and checking everything. Now, he was right, but I can't reliably publish that. So I'm still working on a way to reliably make a ley line map and make a barometer of how to show toxic and clean ley lines. Um, my husband, he actually got quite an eye opener. I kept talking to him about the ley line energy, and he was like, "Yeah, yeah, 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 yeah." Well, we went out to a different state, and sure enough, he felt it. He and I, we were able to get 4 hours sleep apiece. We had lower body pain. We were good. And this was not a pleasant trip. This was for a family member's illness, very, very, very severe illness. We went out there and he was amazed. Um, we were both in a good mood almost all the time. I cut back on my coffee. Everything was just good. Our health got markedly better, and he was realizing he was walking around for hours in the hot sun and he didn't feel it. So that kind of opened his eyes. But the place we went had a lot of natural vortexes and energy spots and things like that. But what he began to realize, and then he stepped on to a dirty ley line in that place, and everything came rushing back. He's like, "Oh my God. This is actually real. This was proof positive to him." I mean, he's pretty open minded. If anything, I'm more of a skeptic than he is, but it opened his eyes to realize that this really can be locationally based. And so ever since that happened, it gave him a much different perspective. And it was really good to see somebody who was just like, "Yeah, I believe you, but whatever, let's just move on. Let's continue on with our day-to-day lives." But the difference for him was just insane. I was pretty shocked myself, but I didn't expect it to be that dramatic of a difference, but it was. So, like I said, you can always tell by how you feel. And then also, if you just seem to, everywhere you go, you just seem to find just ugly spirits, just really nasty spirits, and everything like that, check your ley lines. The only reliable way I can tell you right now is to do the pendulum over the map of your area. And I will tell you, when ley line goes toxic, it will bleed out, just like if you have blood poisoning, it will bleed out to other energetic veins throughout different states, different areas, different nodes, and it will actually corrupt all of that around it. So if you've got one pocket that's infected, it'll just spread. So, and if I remember correctly, one of the ways to stop the spreading and somewhat reverse it, you can reverse it maybe a little bit, is to pound iron stakes into the lines where they start to turn bad. Another way, honestly, some of the ways I've used are to keep pouring holy water into the different rivers and things like that, especially at their source points. It kind of helps things go back to normal, but and you can also do candle spells. You can do a lot of different workings. There is one person I know that actually legitimately pours energy into the lines to start cleaning them out, and that has helped as well. But until I get a really good tried and true method, right now, just don't mess with it if it's a toxic ley line. Now, I am going to check my notes real quick to see what else I wanted to talk about. Okay, let's see. All right. Now, you might ask, how can a ley line be soured? There are some man-made ways, such as pollution, stagnant energy, things like that. A ley line can be deliberately soured. You would have to make a sacrifice of some sort over it to sour it. I do know of one place that was done, and the ensuing chaos and deterioration, I get it. If you are a dark practitioner or a dark worker that feeds off of chaos, that is one thing. But I will say the resulting problems to the entire area was horrible. I took a very beautiful place and just wiped it out, and it's been getting worse and worse. I know some friends who have tried to help, and they are still trying, but it's an uphill battle. Once you tox it out, it's really, really, really hard to get it back. Whoops, hold on. And I just ignored comments. I apologize, guys. I'm off my game today, but it's been a real weird kind of weird luck obstacle kind of day. All right, let's see. Thor, poison the soul, poison the body, essentially. Yes, something like that. Poison the energy. I wouldn't say soul, because I feel like the soul of Earth is something totally different. But basically, just when you sour out a ley line, it's just something else to see. Indeed. Hold on. Can you recommend any books on ley lines? Well, Judy, like I said, the only one that I've actually tripped across is The Old Straight Road by Albert Watkins. Let me make sure I said that right. Hold on. This is why I have notes. Okay, it is by Alfred Watkins. It was published in 1921 over in England. And like I said, very few copies are in print. And even he referenced the works of people like English astronomer Norman Lockyer, who argued that ancient alignments must be oriented to sunrise and sunset at solstice in Blackwoodine, Herefordshire, England. Let's see what else. Okay. Also, Watkins was an amateur archaeologist, which is actually pretty cool. Judy, there are some books on Amazon. I wouldn't recommend a whole lot of the modern ones simply because they tend to give a lot of misinformation. But let me go take a look. Hold on just 1 second here. Amazon. Ley line books. Let's see what they got. Ley Lines in Earth. Ooh, Cohen. Okay, that's got to be a recent edition. Nice. Now, there is such a thing as geomancy, and they do a lot of work with that. But it's not. Geomancy actually is less popular than I think it should be. But, what am I to say, huh? Thank you for bringing it up, Judy. Actually, I'm going to take a look at 2 on the list. The other ones I've seen before, I've done a little reading on. I'm iffy on. They don't sound so awesome. But the 2 newer ones that I hadn't seen before, because Amazon's always gobbling up books. So that's awesome. Good. I'm going to do some research. Anyway, geomancy, just real quick. Let's see what the dictionary definition is, because I always love to give you guys that. The art of placing or arranging buildings or other sites auspiciously, divination from configurations seen in a handful of earth thrown on the ground, or by interpreting lines or textures on the ground. Okay, that's not what I thought geomancy was. Geomancy is supposed to be, well, from what I know of it, it's supposed to be actually reading the Earth's energies. Now, you can use a pendulum, you can use dowsing rods, things like that, but geomancy is actually directly connected to the Earth energy. So, oh well. Dictionary definition, though, you have it. Let's see, what else? Oh, here. Boop. I'm in love with this topic. Thank you for. Oh, well, thank you, Awen. Oh my God, I cannot speak today. Mercury's not even in retrograde. Anyway, thank you. I appreciate it, and I'm glad you tuned in. If you have any questions, fire them at me, because my brain's like, blah. And I am going to be ordering some of those books off of Amazon as I get a little bit more cash, and I want to read them. That way, if they're good, I can recommend them to you guys. I love recommending books. Boop, boop, boop. Anyways, I'm off to rest. Just got back from pole class. Figured I'd say hi and hope your night goes great. Well, thank you, Thor. I appreciate you popping by, and go you, pole class. That's awesome. I don't have the upper body strength to do that. Good luck. Oh. By the way, interesting, just real fast, apparently pole dancing originally started as a form of proving worthiness in men. I believe it was in Peru or Africa. I can't remember which, but yeah, I always thought that was kind of funny. We brought it over here to the States and made it something of a seductive art. But that is also why when you see a man pole dance, when you see some of these really amazing male pole dancers, oh my God, They can do lifts, they can do flips, they can just kind of hold themselves up, and you're just like, wow, upper body strength. And yes, and core strength. Yes, core strength. Hi, Antoinette. How you doing, girly? Anyways, let me just check my notes and see if there's anything else here. Oh, right. The dictionary definition of a ley line. Ley lines are hypothetical alignments of a number of places of geographical interest, such as ancient monuments and megaliths. So there you go. You also have the dictionary definition of that. Okay. Makes sense. My only advantage is my strength and abs. You got a lot more advantages, dude. Or, well, you have a lot more advantages, though. So, no worries. Let's see. Further definition of geomancy on Wikipedia. Ooh, Wikipedia. I love Wikipedia and I hate Wikipedia. Both, because, oh my God, anybody can go in there and edit it, and it's so bad. I mean, so sometimes the information they put in there, you're like, what? But okay, Wikipedia. In recent times, the term has been applied to a wide range of other occult and fringe activities, including earth mysteries and the introduction of ley lines and biology. All right, Judy, explain biology, because I am so lost. But groovy. Thank you. Ooh, I have discussion going. I am so happy. Yee. Let's see. No idea. Judy. All right, fine. Let me go look it up. BAU biology. Okay, this is going to be interesting. All right, guys. BAU biology. Meaning a science of construction and building as related to health and wellness. It is a scientific field that identifies and evaluates toxic sources within the indoor environment and studies how best to mitigate or prevent these toxins from occurring. Ooh, now that sounds cool. Never heard of it, but sounds cool. I have heard of something like it, but never that name. Strange. Well, thanks, Judy. Alrighty, my guys, my loves. Let's see here. Nope, we're good. Got everything. Any other questions? Okay, so once again, always check for it. People like mail truck drivers, UPS drivers, FedEx, Amazon drivers, anybody, even truck drivers, they're going to be more familiar with ley line energy, even if they don't realize it, because they're constantly crossing. They're crossing every place on the earth, and they can feel the different spots. I remember one of Angel Lynn's friends, she pulled me aside and she mentioned, she's like, no, my girlfriend is a driver. And she said, yes, she's felt the different spots. She's felt the change. There are a lot of lines here in Iowa that are really skanked up. They are really toxic, or sour, as the colloquialism is. And you can always tell when there is a change. Hold on. Here we go. What kind of stones used for a pendulum to tune into those ley lines? Well, actually, I would probably say something like hematite or tiger eye. You can use clear quartz, but I would say hematite, tiger eye, obsidian, black tourmaline, something like that. I don't recommend the more crown chakra connected stones like amethyst or lapis, simply because you want to get something very earthy feeling. You want something that it puts you in the right headspace and it connects right into that. If you can, I know the Iowa State geode is, or the Iowa State rock is a geode, and you might see if you can find a geode pendulum, because that, if you can get one from a clean ley line source, that would be really fun. But just for grabbing anything, I would say tiger eye, hematite. Tiger iron's good too. I really love tiger iron, but it's hard to find tiger iron in pendulums. Tiger iron's been kind of slowing down these days in popularity. Heck, you could probably also do an iron nail, actually, but it's got to be iron. I would say iron. Um, hold on, here we go. I just so happen to have a few uncracked geodes. Cool. All right, good job. So there you go. I would definitely do that. Uncracked. I got you. But yeah, no. Get a map out. Get a map. I would say get a map. Light a white candle in the corner, and just for clarity and purity, and then go over it. But you got to suss out which way is yes and which way is no for you, because as we all know, pendulums, you got to ask them. You got to say, hey, which way is yes, please? And they'll show you. Thank you. Which way is no, please? And then they'll show you. For me, it's always this way is yes, this way is no. It's always across for me. So, and anybody who says you have to train your pendulum is full of horse hockey. They're an instrument. They have a mind of their own. Don't worry about it. The other thing is, if you're going over the map, just like anything else, and the pendulum just starts twitching and shaking and jumping around, it's actually had too much energy pumped through it. So you've got to lay it by either white selenite to clean it out, or you have to put it in some salt and give it, 10, 20 minutes, maybe 30 to just kind of decompress. If you're doing a lot of ley line checking, you want to give it about an hour if it starts doing that. Simply because it's actually going through and it's sensing where all the energy spots are and what polarity they are, whether they're negative or positive. And that can take a real toll on anybody. Poor pendulum. But yeah, always make sure after each time you put it with white selenite or salt. And I mean, some people say phases of the moon, things like that. But for me, especially when you're dowsing ley lines, I would say penduluming ley lines, dowsing ley lines, I would say use white selenite or salt. Thank you, Edwin. I appreciate the questions. Good question. I'd never thought of that before. Thank you. And you can also use clear quartz. Clear quartz is great for everything. I mean, seriously, it's an amplifier, and you can program it to do almost anything you want with intention. And you can do that any way you need to. You know what? I should probably cover that in a future Tuesday night talk. I got a couple different things that I need to cover. By the way, another thing, guys, suggest topics on Tuesday night talks. Whatever you want to hear about, whatever you want to hear me discuss. If I don't know about it, I will drag somebody on that knows about it better than me. Yeah. I suppose if you're by the sea, you could actually use a shell pendulum. Basically anything that really gets you in there and gets you earthified. You could actually use sea glass as well, but I prefer my tiger eye or my hematite for this stuff. Another thing, when you're quick note, when you are in a place that's pretty haunted, you want to use either black tourmaline, obsidian, or hematite, but heavy on the obsidian or black tourmaline. Just an FYI. And you would probably want to use a black candle. Because if there's a lot of heavy spirit activity, you want to make sure you're kind of parting the seas on that, just kind of getting rid of all the excess static. That way you can actually just find the lines and find out what their polarity is. And like I said, even if you are a Reiki worker, heck, I'd advise priests to do this. I don't know if that would really go against their religion, but I would definitely advise anybody, Reiki practitioner, energy worker, anyone. Find out where your lines are, find out where your nodes are, find out where your vortexes are, and figure out the polarity. And if they are soured, do everything in your power to clean them up, because you don't want to be dealing with that in your practices. Don't just move simply because as practitioners, we have the benefit of being practitioners, sensitives, intuitives, what have you. We have the benefit of having a heads up on this and being able to do something about it, being able to do more about it. Heck, I know one guy, he actually took a container of bleach water, visualized that it was an antibiotic, and poured it into a toxic line, and it worked. But it was all about that will and intent that was going into it. And Thanks, Awen. I appreciate it. But remember, I'm actually starting a new Spotify channel. It's called Des Moines New Age Radio, and I'm putting the interviews and the Tuesday night talks up as we speak on it. It took a little bit, but I got it up there. So, and most of the projects outside of the Psychic Roundtable are going to go on Des Moines New Age Radio, and I will get some QR codes up for that. That way you guys can just link back in. I wanted a home for everything to be outside of Facebook because it's been so glitchy and they just keep changing rules left and right. And then the couple of times my accounts got frozen, that was very uncomfortable. So yeah, I want to do a backup. So don't worry. It will be out on Spotify. And I will send you a link. I will put a link in the comments here. To the Des Moines New Age Radio, where Tuesday Night Talks is going. That's where its home is going to be. Oh, and by the way, on Spotify, you actually have to download the app in order to see the video. Otherwise, all it's going to play is the audio. Dennis figured that out. I was like, but he's like, no, just download the app. There you go. I'm like, oh, cool. So yeah, download the Spotify app. Anyways, so yeah, I think that's about it. Now, I will say, there are still a lot of ley lines that do run between sacred sites. Like I said, Stonehenge, Easter Island, the pyramids, things like that. And of course, I'm pretty sure, being the cryptoanthropology buff I am, that the sunken ruins of Atlantis, which everybody says is a myth, but whatever. I'm pretty sure that if we take a look, we'll probably get some ley lines running through those. Now, the other nifty thing about ley lines is when they're clean, when they're toxic, but you can never really trust them when they're soured out. The thing is, just like what I was saying about certain beings being able to read the Akashic record energy signatures we have on us in real time, when you get a little farther down the energy sensing path, you will actually be able to pull information from those lines. So being able to actually somewhat read energy through them and sense where things are going on. You'll be able to kind of feel back up along the lines to check things. So let's say if I wanted to check and see where Atlantis was, if I got good enough, I could actually kind of just filter along the lines energetically, send my consciousness, my energy, whatever you want to call it, and I could start checking and possibly find it. Now, they don't make devices to measure this, and nobody has done that project yet. But doesn't mean I haven't thought about it. But it's amazing what you can do with energy once you actually accept it and start tuning into it. Having the gift of being an empath, it's always sucked, but there's a lot more that you can do with it. Reading energy, reading all of the unsaid and the invisible, so to speak. It's very much an art and a gift. So I still say I'd prefer to return it, but hey, whatever. But when you dig down and get into reading the ley lines, reading along them, and just kind of sending yourself out along them, you can see a lot of really interesting and different things. You can know a lot of things you have no business knowing, but curiosity. So yeah, hold on one second here. Dennis, which would win in a fight, a ley line or a ley line? I don't know. I've never contemplated that. I'm hedging my bets. Okay, sounds good. I don't know. Hold on. They have a complicated return policy, I'd wager. Give me a little context on that, Eowyn. Are you addressing Dennis's comment, or where are we going with this? I'm a little lost, just a little bit. And again, never tap into a soured ley line, ever. Just don't do it. It's bad. Do everything you can to clean it up. Hold on, let me just check and make sure everything's going good on the Facebook. It's been so kitschy lately. Oh, the joke you made about returning the gift of being an empath. Yeah. The return policy is you don't get to return it. So, you get to work with it and learn and grow and do all those fun lessons. And for most of your life, wonder if it's you feeling it or if it's somebody else. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, no. And then you get into feeling the spirit's feelings, and that's just no, 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 no. No, thanks. I am good. But at the same time, I understand it is a gift. Hold on. Do. But funny, Owen. Funny. Hold up. Ley lines or ley lines have a return policy? I don't think so. But you could check. You can always check with your higher self, Dennis. You can always check and tell me. um, well, I'm not going to take up all you guys' time, so hold on here. Let's see. Any other questions on ley lines? I can do a future episode on it. Wait. Oh, hold on. Amazon does. Well, even if the books are bad, though, I'm not going to return them. The books on ley lines. I'm curious. I want to see if they have good information, and if they do, that is going to be awesome. The Chinese had a little bit more information on it. Like I said, Lung Mei, Dragon Paths, Dragon Lines. They have a little bit more information on it, but their theory, it's interesting when you read it. Aw, sweetie, you're hungry and you want me to make you food, don't you? I know. Right there. But thank you. I will take the compliment. Oh, and I heard a saying recently that's really wonderful about compliments. If you're not good at taking compliments, just say that you're holding them so as you can give them to someone else. Hold on. Uh-huh. I knew it. He's hungry. Well, I tell you what, Dennis, I will make you food if you get me the intro to Tuesday Night Talks done. If you do that, the intro and the outro, you will get food. Okay? Cool. And I think Mom has hamburger upstairs, so I might go fry that up after this. Anyway. All right, y'all. I'm at about 37 minutes. You see, this is this part of the reason why the Deal Dashes went under, because I can't talk for an hour by myself. I'll see what I can do. Okay. I'll see what I can do on the hamburger. Anyway, loves to you all. And I think I'm going to end it here for now because I'm not sure. I'll probably remember stuff I wanted to say after I get off of this cast. But also keep in mind, I do have an article on the Des Moines New Age Shop blog titled What I Know About Ley Lines. I think I talked about a few more things on this cast, so I may have to update the article. But if you want a reference point, check that out. Generally, the Tuesday Night Talks, I try to make them go hand in hand with the articles on the blog. That way you have both a visual and a readable reference. All of these come off of questions that I get in the shop. Things that need to be answered and myths that need to be debunked. I could talk for an hour. Well, yes, Dennis, you're a Gemini. Of course you can talk for an hour. I'm a Taurus. I'm like, we're at 38 minutes. I got nothing else to say. Love you too. See you at the Psychic Round. Awesome, Ewan. And I think for the Psychic Roundtable, I am probably going to do open lines or really easy topics simply because I really don't feel well and I think I have an ear infection coming on. Anyways, so like and subscribe and tell me any future topics you would like. I always love hearing from people, and I absolutely love helping and teaching and everything like that. Hold on. It will be the most sporadic hour covering everything from dinosaurs, anime, dogs, and salad forks. I know. I'm familiar with your nebulosity, my darling. I am ashamed of how long I can talk. You know what, Eowyn? Don't be ashamed, because you know what? I'm just like, I just cannot do 60 minutes. Judy, have a good night. You too, Judy. Hey, and at some point, Judy, I would like to have you on the Psychic Roundtable with the whole past life reader thing. So think about that. It's always on Thursdays at around 8:30-ish, tech gremlins permitting. So, yeah, think about it. All right. Loves to you all. Mwah. Like, subscribe. I'll put the Spotify link in. Mwah. Loves to you all. And end stream. End stream.